Now let's come to the different models that are proposed to study these gene flow movements. So first is your island model. It's also called as continent island model. Continent island model, and also considered as a best way to explain the basic process of gene flow. But here it considers one-way migration. A very hypothetical assumption of a one-way migration, as in from population A to population B. The movement of gene is only from A to B. It's not the reverse mechanism. So what it assumes is there is one very large population where allele frequencies changes only slowly over the period of time, which is connected by gene flow with a small population where migrants make up a very finite proportion of the individuals present each generation. So for every generation they have a very selected amount of migrants who are coming from A. This is being kept on for generations. That's very much finite, fixed for generations. So that much amount of gene is being flown from A to B. So that assumption is being made in this model, that a fixed amount of migrant or fixed amount of gene is being flowing from A to B, and this population population B is very large. Okay, so being at a fixed migration rate, being a very large population, the change in the genetic structure or the change in the gene pool of the population B is very much negligible. Getting the point? So these two assumptions, that there is a fixed amount of migration rate from A to B over the generations, and the population size of population B is quite large. So even if there is a very fixed amount of or finite proportion of people or genes which are coming from A to B, being very large in size, there's a very negligible change observed. Okay, so that is the reason that that is the basic principle behind the island model. So based on these assumptions, we will see how the gene flows from A to B. Okay. So the continent receives the gene flow, but the continent population is assumed to be large enough that immigration has a negligible effect on the allele frequencies. So even after generations, because it's very much fixed, there is a very negligible amount of change being observed in the allele frequencies. And this is not like hundreds of generations, but say 10 to 15 generations. So that is it. And the flow is from the main island. This is considered to be an island. So from the mainland to the island, therefore considered as a continent island model. So the flow from mainland to the island model to the island, the flow of the gene from mainland to island and not the reversal mechanism, is the basic principle. So in this case, a specific degree of migration occurs from mainland to island, but in such type of migration is strictly in one direction without any migration occurring in the reverse way from island to the mainland. This can explain the effect on the allele frequencies of the island as the effect of the main island. Now they are trying to show the numerical depiction of how the changes happen and how the gene pool of population B is affected over the generations. So they say the rate of migration is identified as the ratio of alleles in the island to that from the main island. So rate of migration is basically the representation of the alleles which are already existing in population B divided by those new alleles which are coming from population A, from the mainland. Okay, so that ratio is how the rate of migration is being calculated. As the contribution towards mainland gene pool is presented by M, it is explained that the island is the sole contributor of the allele proportion. So here is the figure from the mainland to the island. Now this is the migration rate. M is a migration rate, and because it has to sustain at 1, this island allele frequency has to sustain at 1, and when we're talking with respect to maintaining its allele frequency, final, like 100% of its allele frequency minus the ones who have come from the mainland. This is how the allele frequency of the island is depicted. So 1 minus m is identified as the allele frequency of the island. So this is what it says. It is explained that the island is the sole contributor to the allele proportion of the island. It is because the mainland and the islands do not make it to 1. Right? So what happens? Because it's in a single direction from the source of the larger population to the small island population, the allele frequency of island does not affect the source or the mainland population, while it happens in the reverse direction. Okay, because it's only flowing from the direction of mainland to the island, the proportion of, or the gene pool or the allele frequencies of the mainland is going to be constant until unless it has other forms of gene flowing from other sources. In this model, the allele frequencies remain constant. Okay, and because there's a very finite proportion of people coming from, or finite proportion of genes coming from this to this, so it does not also affect the population size or the gene, the size, the genetic composition of the mainland population also. Okay, that was the consideration. So this is the mathematical depiction of the island model, wherein PO is indicating the allele frequencies of the island population at the initial level. P stands for the frequency of the mainland allele. Okay, so let's say this is P naught initially, this is P. So P1, like at the first generation, this is going to be 1 minus m being the migration rate, bracket PO, the initial allele frequency of the island, plus migration rate multiplied by the allele frequency of the mainland. Okay, this is the depiction. And similarly for subsequent generations, it is going to be replaced by P2, P not being replaced by P, and this becomes constant because this is not going to change being the large population size. So P remains as such. Here it will be P2 and here it will be P1 because it's the second generation. Now we'll be talking 1 minus m of the P1, the first generation allele frequency of the island, plus migration rate multiplied by the population of the mainland, or the allele frequency of the mainland. Now what happens after generations? How is the outcome going to be? So when we're talking genus flowing from the mainland to the island, there is going to be at certain point that the allele frequency of a given allele in the island is going to be almost similar to what we have in the mainland. Gradually the flow of alleles from mainland to the island is going to bring those alleles to this island, and gradually the original composition is going to wipe out. Okay, and therefore over the generations you will see island is going to show the allele representation which is almost or nearly similar to the mainland allele frequencies, allele representation. This is what the graph shows. The island model and the pattern of the allele frequencies change through generations. This graph demonstrates that due to migration of the mainland alleles to the island, the allele type of island gradually becomes similar to the mainland. Okay, so such outcome is completely determined by a constant rate of gene flow, and they have no random process, be genetic drift or any other thing which could introduce any form of chance variation. So the continent model or the island model, it shows the process of gene flow alone is capable of bringing the population to the same allele frequency. So it is going to create an outcome of having a similar frequency from where the gene has started flowing from, right? But it goes along with the assumptions. Okay. So this is about the island model. Next up is our two gene model. Now, two-way gene flow model. Now, unlike to what we have studied in island model, where there was gene flow from only one and there was no reversal mechanism, here we are going to have a reversal mechanism as well. So it's a two-way gene flow. It's different from island model in a way that it explains the gene flow in both island to the mainland plus mainland to the island. So both the ways the gene is flowing. It is important to state that here the gene frequency changes in the populations of the main island and the island in case of two gene flow model, because earlier there was no change in the mainland's frequency, it was only the change in the island's frequency. So that is a difference which we are going to study in this model. Now this model seeks to remove one obvious flaw of the island model, which was related to the lack of geographical substructure. So this was a major flaw that has been cited with respect to the island model. And in order to overcome this flaw, this model has made an assumption that there are equal rates of migrations between the subpopulations as well. Okay. So this is, along with other assumptions, this is one very important assumption of the two-way gene flow model, because they are saying that within the population there are other subpopulations. So the island model didn't have any consideration of what was the flow or migration between these subpopulations. So now we'll see in this model they're saying, the basic assumption is that even in the subpopulation level there are equal rates of migration, and that rate has to be considered equal. The basic assumption of this model. Here it is noteworthy that both the models show that even very low rates of migration between the subpopulations are capable of retarding their genetic differentiation. So even very negligible rates of migration, even if we say they're equal and they are very low, still at particular time after generations we will see there is going to be almost reduced genetic differences between these subpopulations. Okay. The two-way model mainly shows that the equilibrium allele frequencies in the two subpopulations are the average allele frequency of the total population when the two migration rates are equal. Now, according to the diagram, the two migrations from X to Z is M, Z to X is M. So in these populations we are seeing the migration rate being constant, very importantly. So what is going to happen to the allele frequency? Similar to the island model, remember, now migration is same, so the allele frequency is going to be 1 minus what has been the result of the migration event. Similarly for the Z, because migration is same again, so 1 minus M for the Z allele frequency, right? It says the two-way model shows that equilibrium allele frequencies in two subpopulations are the average allele frequencies of the total population when migration rates are equal. Okay, this is the underlying principle. Now the figure below, it demonstrates two-way patterns of the gene flow, showing the migration rate as same for both the populations. The rate of migration is M for population X and Z. Here M represents alleles ratio between both the populations. Like in the previous model also, M was alleles of the island population to the mainland population. So here also M is going to be represented by the ratio of the population X divided by population Z if you are talking for migration rate towards X. Okay, 1 minus m therefore becomes the received allele proportions by each population. Received allele because 1 being the original or the 100% of the X minus the one which has been brought along with the migration, with the gene flow. So that will be what? The allele frequency of the given population. Fine. So similarly to the previous one, when we're talking about the island and mainland, consider here we are saying the next generation of the island is equal to 1 minus m of the initial stage, this was 0, plus m of the mainland frequency, right? So similarly, now when we're talking with respect to x, okay, or if you're talking how is the allele frequency of x going to be affected in the next generation, so t plus 1 being the next generation of x is equal to 1 minus m for p of x1 of the previous generation plus m p z or allele frequencies of population z of the same previous generation. Okay, getting the point? So this is it. Similarly, now for next generations of pz, like of the population z, we have to calculate कि यहाँ पे after the movement, after the gene flow occurred in the next generation, how is the gene frequency or the allele frequency of population z is going to be affected, is putting the same variables p of the mainland, or with respect to what we are trying to calculate here, z of the next generation t plus 1 is equal to m p of x, the previous generation, plus 1 minus m of p z1. Fine. This is how it is going to be, the calculation for the allele frequencies. Now what is going to be happening at the end is depicted by this graphical representation. So there is going to be a certain point where after migrations n number of generations, there is going to be a point where the gene or the allele frequencies or the gene pool of both the populations are going to be almost similar. There's going to be almost similar frequencies of these alleles in both the populations. So because of other controlled assumptions and because of fixed migration rate between the two subpopulations, there is going to be a maintenance of gene pool or the alleles almost similar in both the populations. Okay, so after say here 25 generations, the allele frequencies for both the population has merged to be almost equal. So in this case it says the change in the allele frequency from migration depends on two factors. Okay, very important. How does the change of your allele frequency is determined? Firstly, depending on the population of the migrants, and secondly, what is the difference in allele frequencies between the migrants and the residents. So even if there is a new form of gene coming in, as a part of that gene flow, but still how well is it different, or is there complete negligible evidence of that new allele, or to account to that difference in what is the new one brought by the migrants plus what has been their residential form. So that difference is also attributing to the changes in the allele frequencies, right? So two factors determine these changes in the allele frequencies, one being the population of the migrants and second being the differences. So it's also pretty much obvious that if there is no difference in the allele frequency of those who are the migrants and the residents, then of course the change is going to be almost zero, right? Because there is no new gene flow, there is no difference, so we cannot predict any form of allele frequency being changing in the population. It's almost going to be same, so change is going to be almost zero, negligible. If the difference is zero, the change is zero. Therefore the populations must differ in their allele frequencies for migration to affect the makeup of gene pool. Okay, So like when we're going to study the kin structured one, you'll get this idea more clearer, that if the genetic pool remains constant, then there's no point of migration or gene being flowing through the migratory event or any form of movement into the new population, because then there is no difference, there is no form of change being produced. With continued migration, the source of migrating population and the destination population becomes increasingly similar by their allele frequencies, and therefore as a result the change in allele frequencies due to migration decreases. So eventually the allele frequencies in the two population will be equal without any further change. However, this will happen only when there are other factors besides migration which do not influence the allele frequency. So definitely in regards to the assumptions that are given of this model, only in those regards these factors are going to be applied.